All right, I'm here with Diego Core, the owner of the Field Training Lifestyle, right? Lifestyle
Yes.
gym in London. Longtime trainer, originally from Brazil. You have a background in Chek Institute, Poliquin, and then I got introduced to you through the TACFIT system as well. Met you in Brazil, and you actually started the guys who ended up kind of leading the group in Brazil, Bernardo and Alan Moura. So
Precisely, yeah.
it was great to catch up with you and talk to you last week, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure, to join the Forcey and be able to have this beautiful chat to explain the world why we are here, right?
Yeah, that's it. So tell me about yourself. You're from Brazil. How did the move end up where you ended up going to London?
Yeah, and basically, I grew up always in a world of exercise, and I always liked to do it. I was into cycling and also gymnastics as small kids. And then I think the idea to live in London, when I look back in my past now, I think was maybe trouble relationship with my dad, basically, because I always felt home was a difficult situation to stay in because of my relationship with him, which was quite, as growing up was quite bad, but over the time you overcome, you understand what was happening, and that's the whole philosophy why I went for the lifestyle situation. And I've always because my background is as family, part of my family is from Germany, the other part is Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
So I always want to come back to Europe to see them and that kind of stuff and try to study outside. And there was always a kind of dream since small. I think I always want to live out in Brazil since I was 12, basically.
Wow. Yeah. So you're originally from Porto Alegre, right?
Originally from Porto Alegre. So then I graduated in sports science, physical education in Porto Alegre itself, in Federal University. And from there, I was already working and trying to do some kind of masters and looking for a possibility to do something out, to do like a master degree out. And it was just a way out for me to leave Brazil, basically. And then I got a place, an university in Cologne, and they gave me a sponsorship, like scholarship, actually. And to go there, study there for a couple of years. But I was it had a gap year. So I graduated basically in 2003 and it would start in 2005. So then 2003 came to England just to improve English because the first year of the course was in English,
right,
and the second year was in German. And then I came out, I need to improve my English. I want to come down to England and just start learning what it's about, living outside. And then I just got married and my wife came with me. So we decided things and we came together. Basically also graduated in the same university. That's where we met. And came down here, started doing all types of different work, just to survive and try to get about, I would say the physical activity wasn't the beginning with, it was just about trying to understand the world, and there was so much excitement, in a different place. You don't speak very well the language, you learn loads of stuff. And then I realized afterwards I could study over here. So then I started studying here. So that's why I got first involved with the Chek Institute back in 2007.
Wow.
And I got an opportunity to work in a clinic, and the guys showed me all the stuff they were doing and stuff like this. Oh, I think it would be great to do some of those courses. So then I started studying for Chek. That was the first kind of experience with kind of question of movement or functional, they used to say back in the day.
Functional.
Yeah, training. Everything was functional back in the day. It was like functional training. So it was cool. It was cool. It was a great experience. I think it was a big it was a big opening for me, right? Even though
it changed my background, opening up your mind to other things, right?
Yeah, I was just I was always based in Brazil, even though I was in high sports stuff. I never realized there was kind of connection between fitness. We were so in fitness in Brazil, I would say back in the early 2000s or even earlier, it was always to like work out in gyms and the whole thing. And it was basically was just that and sports. And sports was only for people really looking for a career in sports.
Right,
So you could not access both together. So coming to UK and doing this course, I realized, whoa, okay, there's a crossover here. You know, what is this about? You know, and then I start kind of understanding my background and I get a really kind of excited. Oh my God, this is great. It's very different. And at the same time, looks much human body, you know, how body moves rather than go for this kind of mechanical machines and the whole thing, you know. Not disregarding anyway, but it was for me, it was a big like excitement, you know, and a different way to see it.
Yeah, yeah. You said you had a gymnastic background as well?
Yeah, as a small kid, I practice quite a bit.
I see.
And also different sports like volleyball, cycling in a heavily way, and generally just being a kid, to be honest. That was basically the main sports for me as early.
When you came over from, you know, you wanted to maybe move out of Brazil, and you knew that was in the cards for you. Did you think you were do you wanted to have a gym when you were coming over here in the future?
No, my mind would not go in that way. That back in the day I came to UK and with an idea of an experience. I never felt I was trying to kind of like, I was not a migrant. Do you understand it?
Right.
The idea to stay was just like, it happened naturally. I was not ever looking for anything. I think the idea to grow up to end up having our own business, I think it's always like a startup in age wise as well. And I think you mature as well. There's a lot of stuff happening. So I was already in the industry of start learning all this questions of movement, start working. Maybe I was 24 already working. And all my life was in this exercise, but I when I started in London, I was 24. I came with 23 or 25. And as I evolved, I started feeling there was a possibility for me to get a place. And I was always looking, listen, I don't want to work for anybody else anymore. I want to just find my own ideas and bring my own ideas to one place. And I start kind of getting out of working for people. I start working people's home, you know, start getting my whole kind of solo in a different way. And then that boosted me more and more to realize that I could do it. But it was just a question to find the right place, the right amount of money, all that kind of stuff, you know, which involves to open a place.
Right. Your wife, going back, your wife, is she German, Brazilian?
She's also Brazilian, yeah. She's also Brazilian.
Okay. So you speak German as well?
No, we actually, when I was very, very, very young, I maybe could speak a few words, but not really. Her mom also comes from German side. Her mom speaks German. But she doesn't speak neither hers because we live more in the Brazilian, you know, and I live more in the Portuguese side of my family. So it was more Portuguese.
I was just thinking, since you guys lived in Cologne for those years, you know, maybe you and for the club.
No, we never lived. We just came and we supposed, like I said, I got the scholarship, but starting 2005. But I left UK. I left Brazil in 2003 for a gap year.
I see. So you had a couple
to study English, but then we decided to stay here and never went actually to Germany.
I see.
So we never accomplished that. They were quite sad actually. They said I was not gonna go anymore.
Yeah.
That's sad, but you know, it's a big effort to give a scholarship. It's not like everyone that gets it, you know, that kind of stuff. But saying that, I think was the best thing I've done, to be honest. I don't know how the life would have been going there, but I think it will probably cause problems in my relationship, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Looking back now, do you think that was the right decision?
Yeah, no doubt. Because like I said, I think if I would have gone to Germany, I don't think my wife would have gone. So she would be here, or she would maybe go back to Brazil. She'll be alone, or maybe she'll try that, but she wouldn't find it. I don't know. It's difficult to tell, right? It's difficult to tell, but I think staying here, it helped me to understand a lot more. And I think it was already a big change to change from Brazil to come to UK. So it was a big change. It will be another change that sooner. And I think, not that I was thinking about that. It was just like
Right.
I said no when I decided to study here, and that was it,
Uh, you guys have a couple kids now?
Yes, two, Pedro
Two
and
kids.
Laura.
How old are they?
Pedro is about almost 26, 6 in December, and Laura is almost 2 in October.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So there's a kind of 3 years, 8 months gap between them.
Nice.
So yeah, it took a while to have kids. That was one of the things. We've been together, me and my wife, for a long time. So after 15 years together, we decided to have a kids.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations. Amazing.
Thank you. It was
Amazing.
well planned.
You have your hands full, huh?
Well, right now, the moment I don't go there in Lisbon, so it's good.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so they're all in Lisbon now. So I actually am a bit freer, to be honest.
Your
Uh,
wife is in Lisbon right now?
yeah, and the kids.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
going there next week to pick them up.
Okay, nice, nice. Very cool, very cool. Well, good job. Good job on making the babies.
Yeah, I was, seriously, I always thought about like having a third kid, but then after having two now, the demand they requires the whole thing. Uh, I think that maybe two is good.
You got a
Do you
boy and
have kids?
you got yes, I do. I have a I'm sorry, 13-year-old son, and I have twin
Uh-huh.
girls, 11, like 11 and a half. So year and a
Oh,
half.
well, so you know what I'm talking about. You have three then.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I have a amazing wife, she has a very big family, so that really helps a lot. Have you seen that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
No, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, this white guy, he's marries into this Greek family, and they have such a big family. So that's kind of like the situation here, and that was one of the reasons that brought me to Los Angeles, because I used to live in New Mexico, a place called San.
Okay.
Yeah, so that brought me out here.
Because
2000.
the whole family is in Los Angeles. That's what you're saying.
Her family, yeah, her family. She has like 15 aunts and uncles, and 31st cousins. I think even more. And
I
then
love
second
this stuff.
cousin. So a lot of people. They have an army of people. So it's really nice with the kids because they have a lot of little cousins to play with, and endless gatherings and things like that, which is it's good for the family, right? The connection.
Yeah, no, this for me is excellent. It is the thing for have families. In here, we suffer a little bit because of that, because we're by ourselves.
Yeah.
So we have no family around or anything like that. So it would be great to be able to rely on someone with a grandparents or someone just to kind of like have more integration, which is, it's not necessarily because you want to give yourself some time free, but it's just like it's union, right?
Right,
To
of
create
course.
family, it's like about having
That's
everyone
natural, right?
together. And
It's
yeah,
the
so
nature way.
we miss that. We miss that. That's why my wife is in Lisbon, because her mom is in Lisbon right now.
Okay, nice.
So we convinced her to come and live a little bit closer.
Okay, so she's living in Lisbon now. She's moving.
Yeah, six
That's
months
good.
of the year she lives in Lisbon.
That's a good.
Well, it's adaptation now. We're trying to make sure she stays on this course. Put it like that.
Continent, yeah. Nice, nice. So let's go back. We talked a little bit last week, and you told me about your shoulder. And how did you come across CST? Because your wife also I think she got certified as well, right? CST
Yeah,
and tech.
yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Well, for me, the experience came like this. So I was studying different guys. Like I said to you, I was always been studying for a long time with all types of people and coaches and athletics and osteopath and physios all over. And when I was in university, when I was 18, I was doing athletics, and I was running on the what is called on the court, whatever it was, the athletic ground basically.
Uh,
And it was outside, and it wasn't amazing necessarily surface to run. Brazil back in the 90s. Then when I was running, I was speeding. I always been very competitive myself, and I think the competition become more about the perfectionism, about to try and make sure I do well, and I try to do my 100% rather than competition itself. But they work so close to each other that it's difficult to know sometimes what's the difference, right? So I was running basically. And then on the curve, one day I was on the moments I was running very fast. I didn't have proper shoes either, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I slept basically. I slipped, and then I slipped and landed on my shoulder. Dislocated my shoulder, and
Wow.
that started my life of dislocation shoulders. And then after that, didn't know what was back then or what was anything, but at the same time was a thing that set my life to go to do more like in training, because then the teacher was running the subject. He also had a gym and a major center of sports, which they have gymnastics, the whole thing. And he
Right.
put him in there to work in there because whatever happened to me. And I started working there. And so I continued to dislocate my shoulder for several years, you know. So I was going to play anything, I would dislocate it. Or do this, or dislocate it. Then when I was 27, I said, I can't do this anymore. You know, I worked so much in the shoulder. I've been learning so much about shoulders. I've been working so much to rehab the shoulder and how to get it right. Was looking strong, but in external rotation and exposed on a high velocity motion, you will dislocate it. So the last time, you know, I dislocated when I was 27, I was doing handstand, right? So I was doing handstand, looking good. Suddenly I just felt something like I turned my hand a little out because depends on the movement of my hand. My shoulder just did, and I went straight to the ground.
Wow.
So I broke my scapula.
Wow.
And I actually chipped my glenoid. There's part of the scapula. Boom, when I broke that. Then pain again, another dislocation. Didn't know what was that, but again, I had to stay down, stuff. Went for surgery. And then I have to get this back. I need to fix this Bankard lesion, which was the lesion I had. Went for surgery. Okay, 27. Then started the process of rehab myself. I started doing the whole rehab. Didn't believe much in what they were giving to me for the experience I had for a long time studying. So I started studying shoulder rehabilitation since 18, basically, since I dislocated. So I started rehabbing myself, how to work, how not. Spent a year and a half working my shoulder. I remember my friends used to go in this clinic and say, "You're crazy, man. You're still doing this rehab, exercising here, that, and that." But anyway, I
A
never
year and a
felt
half
pain in my
later.
shoulder.
A year and a half
Yeah,
later.
we're not high later.
Yeah.
I never felt pain. Okay, I just rehab and I get away. And then I went to courses. Doctors were very surprised how my shoulder managed to get. But then I saw, I think it was Pochek even. I was so Pochecking that time still, doing some playing of clubs.
Clubhouse on.
Then I thought, what is this? Sounds interesting. I quite like this stuff. I think it's going to be good for my shoulder. It's going to be a good stuff. Then I researched who is doing this stuff. Then I came across CST. Then I thought, well, what can I learn this stuff? What can I learn? Then I looked to learn and started to look, say, is anyone here in London was offering that? Then I find this, which is a friend, Vic. He was doing.
Where did you come across? Because those are what was that? 2007, you said?
2009 actually was when I got Club L involved.
So 11 years ago. I guess they had social media at that point, right? So yeah, they had social media, kind of beginning parts. Facebook.
I don't even think I was in Facebook back then, to be honest.
Did you see YouTube like Scott Sonnen with the circular strength?
Yeah. Do you know, I didn't even search Scott Son yet. I just look up find Club L, who is doing. Okay, I find the Air Max website.
Okay.
But I said I need someone to coach me through this stuff, and I've always been like this. Kind of like I like studying with people who know and pass me on. Then after a few that I know something, I go and try to do it myself. And so I went across, and I don't know how I found it, but I found Vic. And then he came to London. He used to live in Slough. Well, he still lives in Slough, to be honest, which is like a city maybe an hour away from London. And then he brought me a 15-pound Club L, which I'd never seen before. It was not even available. It was difficult to get here. There was no in London. You could just buy Club L's, whatever.
Right.
So he came with this 15-pound Club L, and he gave to me. And then, here we go. This is one of the exercises, doing a cast, right? Simple cast. There was no chance. And I thought it was, well, my shoulder looks good. I'm rehab. Look, I'm looking good. Body's, in shape and everything. I couldn't do even a cast for 15 pounds. They said, you have to chop it, chop it, hold the Club L right in the top of his neck, and I could start performing a little bit. And I was like, shit, I'm pretty weak on this stuff.
Wow. The club is a lie, huh? It shows you.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, and I was, oh my God, I can't do this. Then I started like practicing stuff, and he said, oh, here we go. I had to break up the meal. But the meal back in the day was different done as well. The whole question of getting more hips and how to move, it was an involvement of it. It was a lot more stiffer, the club bell back in then. Which has its value, but nowadays I prefer more with the hip drive. And I couldn't practice it with the left side where I had the shoulder surgery. It took me like maybe in a month, I could do a meal with the right arm, okay? But with the left, it took me 6 months. I could not connect my left side with my right hip. I was completely lost, even though I thought I had done loads of crossing work and everything to get my shoulder up, but it was a missing link majorly. So when I realized this, I said, oh, here we go. I need to practice club bell to allow my body to fully connect itself. And that's where the whole passion started. And I said, look, I need to practice this. And then here we go. And I started looking for it, how to do a certification. Then I came to Scott to start studying with the whole process. Then I discovered Alberto Galazzi as well. And I went to certification in Italy. I think it was the first certification CST in Italy.
Wow. Wow.
I think it was the first one. And I went there and yeah, c'est la vie. I managed to pass. I don't think my technique was good back then, to be honest. I think it was a bit of crap. Looking back now, I have to be honest. But I think they want to create a legion. And so I went through, and I think they acknowledged I was a good guy to have around, to be honest, because I really got into the system and evolved into the system and stuff. And I mean, when I did my CST coach in the middle of F1, they congratulated me in front of F1, how my technique, how my flow fit, the whole thing was brilliant, how I improved, the whole thing. So, and I was very grateful. I was very passionate for the whole process. And I think was a system that was, like a very kind of, how can I say, an advanced system, right? So it was forward thinking, and I think much more ahead there was back in 2010 was
before the technology, right, could approve it, right?
Yeah. So, and I felt the difference in what was promoting in myself and how I was feeling and how amazing I could feel from. Then I understood the whole process that it was not about muscling, but understand technique and break down mobility and flow and how that will improve my load doing club bell. So I could say, well, here you go. I get this motion, understand more how to use it. I become more efficient. My load increased. And I started saying, wow, 15 wasn't a problem anymore. 25 wasn't a problem anymore. Just, swing 35 kgs and the 35 pounds ones. It was a pretty easy stuff for me. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. I can't believe this. But I started watching his videos back in the day, talk about doing trial by fire, the whole trial by fire, which and trying to work for doing trial by fire 35,
right?
With 35 pounds. That was a big game, to do head coach and the whole thing,
Right.
And it was quite amazed by the possibilities to someone who started with 15. And
did you do?
It was great.
Did you do the head coach, the CST head coach?
Yeah, that's the whole thing started in the situation there.
Right.
So they said they're gonna invite me, and there was a kind of invitation coming.
I see.
But in the end, they started going all this process, and the invitation never came. Then it was part of the whole thing that I felt a little bit not so sure about this,
Right.
Internal but I would have done. I prepared myself the whole year to do it, But it was. They gave it the note, but it never happened.
Wow, amazing! 1 year of training. It's yeah. And did you ever go to Bellingham, or did your wife go to Bellingham?
No, I never gone to America there. Well, I went to San Francisco and met the guys there. But then he went to Salinas to do the CST.
Salinas, right? Salinas, yeah.
Yeah. She went there. She went down there, and she met loads of she she was very into the whole thing, you know, and we are part of the whole system. She felt amazing, and for her was a great experience meeting all the sisters, you know, meeting all the guys back then, John Wolf, Eric, you know, Aaron Cruz, all this, the whole crew, you know. And I think that was, I don't even know if it's Galazzi used to go in America back then. I think it was only Scott Sonnen leading back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was
I'm not
straight
sure
of him.
he went down one of the years, you know. I'm not sure what year it was, you know, that he finally started to go.
Yeah, I think it was very early, still 2012 or something like this. 2000,
Okay.
yeah. I think it was there very early. I think it was, I don't know, but I don't remember he teaching there when she had it.
Yeah.
Was just yeah. But I wasn't there, so but she loved it. It was a great experience. And then we came down here and I started we started hosting TACFIT certification, Club L certifications, and then there was a moment as well that CST was dying out.
Right.
And I always felt, wow, I want to keep CST. That's something the head coach also, David Haps, never came as well, because it was dying out and TACFIT was rising.
I think it's I think the brand is TACFIT, right? But really it's I don't know, just my perspective, it's CST, right? It's the TACFIT is CST, you know, but
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is.
brand, right? It's the brand, you know. So that's what I look at. Instead of calling everything inside of the brand, you know, differently. It's all TACFIT, right? But of course it's CST, it's based on CST, right? But from when I think about it, you know, because it gets confusing when you start calling having every piece, because it's so complex, right? Every part of the CST of TACFIT can be its own world, right? In a way, that's how I feel when you start to go down the rabbit hole on each piece.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know, TACFIT is CST. It's always been. But back in the day, CST was the main certification.
Right. Flagship.
Okay. And then, yeah, it was the flag back then. And the flag changed.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So, but that was the whole thing. And of course, nowadays, people only talk CST if they really understand TACFIT in depth.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Otherwise, they even don't know. Talk TACFIT, they think it's TACFIT.
I have to even say, like, what is CST, right? Circular strength training.
Here we go.
Circular strength training, right? So CST.
Yeah.
Sometimes we put hashtags of CST, and I think people don't, you know, unless they've been from the old days, they don't really even know, you know, what that is. So that's how it all started, right?
Yeah, it is. But even all the material back in the day written all the stuff was like, I have material from Scott Sonnen that's like you cannot find nowadays. It's hidden somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was always based on the whole process into flow, you know, prasari yoga, you know.
I made some T-shirts. It's a circular strength training. On the back, there's a quote from Scott. You know how, you know, everything is interconnected in the body, right? Nothing separate from the whole. And so, like, it's like a circle, and you can't have a circle with the piece missing. You know, I'll send you a picture of the shirt, because I love the quote, you know, of just how, you know, all the body's electric jelly, you know, but everything's interconnected, right? And so it's a holistic system, right? Everything's interconnected. It's not one thing separate from the other.
Yeah, no, that's send me on. I love this stuff.
I'll send you the picture, yeah. Because I'm a nerd too. You know, I tried.
Here we go. Let's just put a stamp.
Man, yeah, I got all any old things that you know that I could pick up. I picked up, and just to keep, you know, and you know, Nick Jr., the son of Scott's partner, you know, he's him too, you know, so he's like he's the librarian, you know, but he's the guy who knows where to get everything, you know, because the RMAX thing was so let me say scattered, but it was in so many different places, yeah, because the way things were before, I think. So
the website was complicated.
Yeah. You know what's crazy for me is that people still would go to the website, you know, and they still buy because, you know, the stuff is real, right? When you do it, you get you benefit from it, right? You get better, you know. So yeah, even from, you know, I think of myself always, of course, you know, but and then of course the students and stuff that do it. But it's not even like the fitness, right? But just everything starts to work better, like, you know, your shoulder rehabbing, but my brain and just everything started to work better. Like, you know, say that you get smarter, the world's smartest workout.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I remember, like, one of the things blow me and back in the day as well was the whole
Oh,
flow fit, right?
right.
And I remember like doing flow fit, and I still do it. But what I'm talking about was the experience I had. It was the experience that you start understanding with exertion, exhale,
Right.
timing, rhythm, to create this movement
Flow.
that there's a continuation that you feel possible just to continue because the time is so precise and your breathing is so precise that you do whatever was required before I was 14 to become 21, whatever. But it doesn't matter which number was. I was able always to perform it. But the beauty of it, I always felt was, oh, I did like 21 and whatever was in 14 minutes was, or even 25 in 14 minutes, where it was. And there was competition on it, who would do more, but it was, for me, it was never idea to do faster, but it's a big idea to create this flow, to understand the motion and continue the motion. The club bell, the same thing for me. It was about create this momentum and moving and keeping the same thing. And you realize to get this flow state. And that was the biggest thing for me. But when reaching that moment of this flow state, that you finish, you will not feel tired. You feel that you've done something. But then after 15 minutes, you feel, oh, I can do it again. And that was amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Mind blowing.
I did like 21 minutes straight to this thing. And then I don't feel that bad. And could be the high levels of level 4 and stuff like this. And I can do it again. 15 minutes, I'll feel like I want to do it again. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And that was like a big wake up call how body functions, right? Getting tired or not, and be resilient to effort, and the whole thing was like, is this? What is this whole thing?
Yeah, my background's in the martial arts. So I always thinking martial arts, but like the in martial arts you fight somebody else. Of course, half the battle is yourself, right? But in this, it's like a martial art, but with yourself. And the goal is the good technique, right? And so you're not competing with anybody else but yourself. And so it's about you doing your best, right? Connecting the breath with the correct structure and the movement. And that's it, the flow state, and that's how I always think of it, if you lose the technique, you lose the fight, and so that's always the mindset, so you saying that it's really nice, like I appreciate that.
No, because when you really, I think this is the whole thing for me. He used to call himself the flow coach back then. And I think I realized with myself, do you understand it? What to get the best of me, what I need in myself to feel good. It's always about feeling good, which is health. But it's about feeling good. It's not about building big muscles or not, so stuff like this. I talk all the time to my clients. I don't care about six pack. For me, it's about the abdominal. Does it function right? That's for me, having a good body. It's just a side effect that you're moving well and you're doing well. You're healthy, basically, and that's what it is. Rather than just aesthetics driven, which it's not necessarily what I believe. And so it was just literally was a wake up call, a wake up call, and that brought me loads of thoughts and what is training. Do you understand it?
Yeah.
And I was happy that I was part of it and learning. I was part of something great, and it was a community.
Yeah.
Do you understand it?
Yeah.
And that was all very kind of exciting, and of course came social media in the same process to create this community and stuff, and basically have a great time. Was great, was really like I said, it brought me stuff that I didn't know, and I like to explore. Do you understand it? And exploring was more than, like I said, I get angered by the system, but it was about to understand myself.
That's it.
And understand myself to be able to master who I am. And that's the whole thing for me,
Yeah. Like the podcast, of course, I talk about jiu-jitsu, fighting, the brain, but human potential, and I really feel like the system really allows you to, you say, it builds that awareness. And man, I did so many certifications around the world, you know, like, and the TACFIT, you know, CST TAC, but you're always trying to work in the 60 to 80% of your heart rate max, right? You're always trying to be in the you know, the right, some stress, but not too much stress, right? And that the sweet zone, the golden zone. And I just feel like it's a perfect symphony, you know, just the way, even the certification, and when it's done right, you know, it's just a masterpiece. And this CST, just the whole thing, you know, it kind of blows my mind when I think about it, you know. It's just because it changes, it rewires the brain and connects those neurons and inside the body, you know, and it's remarkable, you know, and you see it happening, right, with people around the world. I mean, there's a reason why the RMAX, the websites, all those things, you know, the way things were, and people were still coming, right? They were still coming to learn and to buy the DVDs, even when people didn't have DVD players anymore. You know,
Yeah. No, it was in VHS, man, the first ones.
Right.
Dude, we all Jute, man.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It was like that, you know, like the whole thing about coming like sending download was a bit later, man. But it was CD and then VHS. I didn't have VHS, but the guy who taught me, he had VHS of stuff, you know.
before cell phones, right, and iPhones and things like that, you know.
Yeah, I think because I think RMX started in 2003, you know. That's the thing. And
I think pretty much, 20 years, right? I was there at the 20-year anniversary.
So maybe
late 90s, I think something is the date, you know, that
yeah. So I think that's, you're right. 1999, I think. Yeah. Maybe something like this. Whatever.
Yeah, close enough. 97, I think.
It's before. That's what I'm saying. It's before any kind of like MP3 or MP4. You know.
Before the Matrix. Right? Before the Matrix.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Just the old PC. You know. They barely have to do basic. You write everything for you. You know.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna download it. It was like, do you remember this stuff? I don't know if you had that, but you know, back in Brazil, my first computers and stuff, back in the late 90s, exactly. Yeah. And you connect. It would be like internet as fast. You connect to your telephone, and you go beep, 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 beep,
oh yeah, the dial-up AOL, and
dial-up, exactly.
I was living in Brazil in the 90s, the late 90s. So I was living in Brazil. So I remember I tried to connect to the internet. And so in Brazil, the internet, in the US, the dial-up was super slow, but Brazil was a whole other level of slowness, I think. So for you to do these things, you have to be a warrior, you know, of patience and zen.
Well, now thinking nowadays, if you try to go back, you're probably gonna kill yourself, right? It's not even patient, that stuff. But back in the day, it was all new, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't know any best. It was available, so I was with the flow, right?
Yeah, I always say I feel like the old guy now, but you know, everything's so fast now, right? Even learning jiu-jitsu and things like that, because you have YouTube, you have things live streaming, you know, and not back in those days, you had to get VHS tapes, you had to get DVDs, right? Everything was much slower to actually learn the things, right? So you have technology to speed up the learning.
You know, I think speed up the learning is great in many things, but more and more as I get older, I'd rather slow down, right?
I understand.
I really think that I don't want to be going crazy like this. I want to just like, I want to really take it easy. You know, I want to take easy life. I want to enjoy life more. I want to see the time real pass. I want to see kids grow. I want to spend time. Yeah. I don't want to just be rushing around and make life this. And then I think more and more, on the other side, more and more understand this whole thing about what he used to say as well. Health first system, right?
Right.
And health is that, right? So it is taking care of yourself with more time. Is really spend time, be mindful,
right?
You know, in everyday's life, and this is more and more becomes priority in what I think, and I think it's for my wife as well, right?
Yeah.
Just real have like it is a choice, right? But it's real like having, it's just you gain time. You know, time becomes precious. You start understanding time is something that you want to have more. You want to spend more on it rather than just see passing by, you know. And the typical thing, living in London, and probably LA is the same thing. But sometimes I feel the time goes past too fast, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like it goes, yeah. My kids are already 2 years old. Oh, yeah, looks like it was yesterday. And then how much do I really spend time with them? How much did I see every smile or stuff? Or what is it, you know? And that's for me, it doesn't mean, it has nothing to do with working or working less. It's just a question of like,
right,
having more time
and enjoying, right? Enjoying the moments, enjoying the
yeah
thing. When we're talking about, I'm saying learning faster, right? But you know, yes, but it's also not good, right? Because you don't appreciate like the learning, the time that you put in of mastering a craft, right? Because you have so many things, technology things to speed that process up. But when it comes down to it, it's the slow parts, right? Or the more reality times that you really learn and feel and be connected, right? With the world, and I think with yourself, and those, you know, touching the trees, looking at being in nature, slowing things down. Yeah, I understand.
yeah, it's like it really is. On a day I ever talked to a friend of mine, and we were talking exactly about this, and saying the best things in the world are free, you know, which is friendship, love, internal peace, you know. It's all those things you need, you know. And it's like, it's not cost anything, but sometimes you don't use your time, you don't realize this, and you end up lose all the most important things,
Right.
your inner self of peace, your friendships, because you don't see anyone, you start getting stressed out and stuff. When the person you most love, because maybe don't spend enough time with them, right? And then you come back in a different world and you start detaching because these things start taking so much of you, and you believe in that what you're doing is right.
Right.
But then years go by and you see these things evolving as well in a different way. And when you see they don't match anymore and the stuff goes apart. And so rather than just have a growth together and aligned, and that's what we talk all the time, to have with my wife, to have a long-standing relationship, which everyone knows nowadays. Relationship is one of the hardest stuff in the world, right? And you want to make sure you keep solid, you know. And of course, it goes for phases, but you want that. But that goes for any relationship, friendship, all those type of things. It's important to be there, present, and to understand each other. And this is a major part of my life nowadays.
I was going to ask you, is your wife a trainer as well?
Yeah, she's done the CST, she's done the Club L, she's done yoga, loads of yoga. But the main focus she does all the time, it was Pilates. She's a Pilates instructor as well. Okay. She does classical Pilates. She studied in New York for a long time. And that was always being her main focus. But at the same time, as you, like myself, you do something a lot and you understand that, then you start realize there's other things out there, and you want to learn different things because you want to master yourself. You want to become a craftsman, and that's what it's about, right? Right. So then she did Club L, which was part of me. It was my introduction to her, and CST, and she really becomes. Then she did Club L yoga, and then she did spend loads of time doing yoga herself and mastering yoga. Yeah. And nowadays she's back up to doing Pilates again, more in depth again, and that's where she is now, and evolving a different programming, because after having kids, you know, you have to learn about your body in a different way as well. Right. So it's a process for her now.
You should when you talk to Nestor about the hyperpressive method after having kids and that whole training.
I need to talk to him about, because I don't know much about hyperpressive, right?
Hyperpressive, yeah, under
hyperpressive
at the abdominal cavity.
I need to talk to him. I need to talk to see what it's about, because I don't understand much what exactly it is. I had actually have a conversation with him very briefly yesterday night. But I have another meeting as well, and then we talk, maybe not that brief, maybe we talk about 45 minutes, you know.
Too
You
much
know,
to
it's like
talk about. Too much to talk about.
it seems like this, you know, like I talk to you as well, I'll talk to him, I can see I'm in the same pace, we can talk, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, and get to know. He has loads of things to talk, I have loads of things to see. And I was thinking with myself, would it really be great if you could set like maybe one day something that we can join together, so really understand more each one of us, and try to understand exactly what everyone stands in a good way, and see how much we can get out of this. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I think it sounds like a possible dream.
Yeah, so I definitely think so. I always, when you talk about Pilates, I always think of him as one of the early or first, maybe even fascial training systems, right? With the Pilates, yeah. And then you get into the Ida Rolf and the Rolfing and all those things, you know. It's just all so interconnected. And it's even interesting for me, you know, they had like, what is it, in the 60s or 70s? The 60s, I think, the Human Potential Movement. If you go on Google, you can see it. And it's all around like that Salinas, the Monterey Bay area, you know.
Okay.
So it's just interesting to see like in Scott and all that. That's what I feel it is, you know. It really allows you to access, you know, your potential. And it all comes down to your breath with the movement, right? Synchronizing, right? And some stress, but not too much stress, right? And getting that balance. For me too, like I remember like my whole life, because, you know, for fighting and stuff, you have to cut weight, right? You have to lose weight. And so my diet, what's that?
It's big crazy whole cutting weight, right?
And it's like, it's beyond crazy, you know, it's just beyond crazy. And so you go up and down, right? And so when you can eat again, you kind of go a little bit crazy. And I just feel like I had, you know, I wasn't like fat, but I always felt like I had an eating disorder. I wasn't in balance, you know, I wasn't in balance. And my whole life, really, you know, I couldn't have one piece of chocolate. I have to eat the whole chocolate thing, you know, my whole life. And it wasn't until I did, you know, I'm just going to say TACFIT, but CST, you know, TACFIT, it wasn't until I did that I feel balanced. Now I can grab one piece of chocolate and be done and walk away and be good. And it was like a little thing, you know, but I was like, wow, it's really changed me. It's rewired me somehow, you know, from my childhood, you know, and that's something, you know, that's something that, I don't know, that's special to me, you know? So the more that I can connect with and that are like, you know, when I talked to you, when I spoke to you, I was like, wow, you know, you're saying all the right things to me too. Like, it resonates with me, you know, like you really understand what it's about. And so I really appreciate that.
No, I can see we sync well, man. Yeah, for sure. I think it's like I think we have different experience and different things done in life. But what I say is this: I think we are basically on the same path. We reach the path in different ways, right? Right. But we are on the same path, you know, what path we're looking for, right? And of course, our values add together because we cross lines, but we come from different backgrounds and different situations, but to end up in the same one, right? And that's, of course, this is exactly what's talked to my wife. I say to her exactly this, you know, I believe in we should have the same goals. Where we want to reach and where we want to be is the same, but how you get there, it could be different. We don't need to be always together. You need to have your self-individuality so we can cross it. And sometimes we go together, we cross, but we're always going towards the same destiny.
Yeah. You know, Nestor always says something like stronger together. And one of the things I appreciate about the system is so many people have different backgrounds, you know, but we all come together and we're in line, and that's where I think that's where the magic happens, right? Is the different backgrounds, different people, but I think people, that's where the growth can really happen, you know, those kinds of things, those kinds of situations.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, and like that's why more and more you see like open source things are better than closed source, you know, because open source grows faster because they have input from many others' brains, let's put it like that. And of course, it has to be kind of like guided. So I'm saying they cannot just like, but then that's what it has. You guide it and try to get this and understand what's good or it's not good, and what it can make to make it better. And then you synchronize in one line. And this is like a clever way, in my view, nowadays to do stuff. You know, people bring like different ideas and different things, but in a moment you only square and you only think the way you want to think, but you don't want to listen to the sides, you don't see possibilities. And then you need to be flexible enough to realize, wow, it's great, this stuff here could add on and make something better, rather than just keep fighting with myself with these only thoughts I've got, which there's nothing wrong, but I don't believe we're going to evolve as fast. And this for me goes like in also in kind of politics. Nowadays, I don't believe in politics. People become more right or more left or more center. I'm here to govern something. If this governed person, he needs to work an entire party to become more. If it's a situation, such situation in the world needs to be more right, it does more right. If it needs to be more center, it does more center. If it needs more social, it does more left. But it's the same part that modulates, depends what's coming upon, rather than just be fixated on one side. Or otherwise, you keep like going for phases of the world. Same thing goes for training as well. You think the world repeats in many ways, okay? And it goes like only this way. And then suddenly, oh, this is not good. People don't want this anymore. Oh, you want it this way now. It doesn't go only this way. People cannot see everything together and see how to get the best of it to centralize, and then just learn faster in the most open source to get the best out there. And I more and more I believe this is the greatest way. But people, of course, need to be able to listen. People need to be able to flexible. And sometimes people don't want to be neither, right? So it's difficult, and that's where comes the relationship, which is one of the biggest stresses in the world, right? So relationship, people tend to get problems because of that. You know, communication is a big thing.
Right. You have any goals, Diego? You have any goals? You gym and training? I don't know. I think it's training, gym.
I always have goals, but my goals now in movement, I'll tell you what is my goals. Okay. In movements, it's just like I want a longevity, and I want to be able to keep moving until whatever 80s, and if I can get 90s, is brilliant. But I want to be like able to do anything. So one of that stuff we talk about, I want to be ageless forever until the day ends, right? So nowadays I don't have any specific goal I want to achieve, but when I'm training, I always want to achieve movements that I could not do, right? So I want to always reach further. So it's about, same Scott used to say, I just say different, but I say sophistication, right? So, which is challenging myself. And I'm always look for these small challenges that I can perform. But like I said, it's loads of so just my battery, loads in also in gymnastics and try to reach, well, here we go. I could do like a handstand now, working one arm handstands, try to really work on my hand. And it's like the whole thing I talk like, here we go with it. Like it's my hand right on the ground, but how does it feel my hand with more pressure on my thumb, more pressure on my index finger? How does it feel to put all the weight on my pinky finger? How my whole body feels with the weight dissipated in different parts of it? How I understand how to modulate this. This is always the way I work. It's just understand to get the maximum, to understand where do I need to work to become harder? Where do I need to work to become more efficient? And where I need to work where I feel weakness and I need to improve. So I'm very into this kind of, if I feel weak and something, I need to work on that. I need to get away. I need to shave it off. It needs to become good, because that will is going to open up something for me in the problem. It will be an injury in the future if I don't watch out.
Yeah.
So this is my goal. It's just keep mastering myself. It's just about really get to know me and try to be as efficient and most aligned, and then I feel good. I wake up every morning and I feel I don't lose flexibility. I feel like loose and stuff, and I want to just make sure that I can cope stress well with life, and to be able to maintain this forever last. And this is the the ultimate goal. That's, I would say. Clinic wise, my movement clinic and stuff, I want to just get back to normality, because coronavirus is a is a little bit of shocking situation right now.
Oh my God.
So that's my main goal now, to be honest. It's not even looking on that far, to be honest. We want to just get back to normal capacity, which I expect maybe just in 2022.
Right, man.
So this is a big thing,
Yeah.
just surviving these times, as you know, is a tough call, and as you know, I don't know how is it for you and your gym and stuff, but in London here, the rentals and stuff is high as it can ever be,
Yeah.
and there's no concessions going on so far, so.
Crazy times. It makes you appreciate just the fact that you're able to go in with a group of people and touch them and, hug them and, those little things, right? Like, man, just makes you appreciate speaking of the time, right? Those moments we just take for granted, but now that we don't have them, you really appreciate them.
Isn't that weird? Like, some people come to you, give the elbow touch here, or people, they start feeling this, what is the contact? It's like, I see also by my kids, have all these people sometimes in masks and stuff like that. They cannot recognize people first, because they don't recognize emotion through the face, because they can't see the face, right?
Right.
So, and then and how much just like touching someone or being like it is complete different world, but it's like, it is. I don't know if you ever research and go on blue zones. Have you ever researched in blue zones?
Blue zones?
Yeah.
No.
So blue zones are the areas in the world where people live the most.
Oh,
so goes in parts of Japan, or the parts in Greece. There's one part in California as well, specifically, where people live longer. And what they find out is this. It's not because the diets and the places are different, Could one have no milk, the other one has milk, the other one's vegetarian, the other one has meat eaters, the other one's fish eaters. And you realize the diet is kind of reasonable balance for what their genetic is for the area. But they realize why they live longer is because there's few things. The stresses are low, okay? Because people live in small villages and they already know what's going to be like. Or grow up, are going to be a fireman. There's no discussion that it's going to be the fireman. And this is going to be this. So they work. But also the diet is reasonable balance, but they realize the social aspect. And that's the most important thing. It is what they believe nowadays that makes people live longer. Because being lonely is one of the things that makes you live less. So they have all the time, like, oh, you're going to see a friend, you're going to see the neighbor, have wine or not have wine. But there's a lot of socialization. And this coronavirus is cutting this more and more and getting people more and more to the phones, okay? And
it's a crime against humanity, right?
It is a massive crime, and you won't see the people, you would see major effects, major facts. But I think we are here in our profession, and it's something to survive. I really believe we are here to bring becomes even bigger.
Right.
It's just a suppression time now, but we are here on a right way to bring health to people, to bring the world on a common sense, shall we say.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great advantage for us.
Yeah.
But not because you think in business version only. I wanted the world better. I want to think feeling more. I want people become more mindful. I want people just feel optimal health. That's what I will tell all the time. People don't know what optimal health is, right?
Right.
And then we can help them. We can make the world a better place. We want to live better and long.
That's it. You talk about always learning, always learning, never stop learning, right? And living your best life at every age till the end, right?
Can you imagine, like,
at the very end?
It's the best thing ever, man. Can you,
right?
like,
as far as goals, yeah.
Anyway, here we go. I'm gonna show this drill on jiu-jitsu here, and the Pui gets the guy that the judo look at you. Oh fuck! You can
Yeah.
do this? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do it, my friend. I've been practicing. I'm good. I work, maybe not 20s, the peak of 30s stuff, but it's still the peak of a good 60s and an 80 or 50 and 80s. Do you understand that?
I
And
was
then you're
telling
like
people,
alive. It's live. You are alive, man. This is life.
we do all the things, and I always say it's like the fountain of youth, because the way you're moving in all the different directions, you're doing all the right things, the breath and all that, and that keeps everything connected, right? Increases your awareness, makes you a better, I think, just better person, right? Because it helps you connect with people better within yourself, right? Which allows you to connect with others and the world a little bit better, So I appreciate your example, Diego.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Yeah. I appreciate your example. Really enjoyed talking to you that first day when I spoke to you. I was like, right on. Alan Mora put us in touch, right? So I really appreciate. I just appreciate you. Appreciate your example and just how you are as a person. And we'll definitely be in touch, and we'll definitely be talking. And I hope to see you soon. Hopefully it's before 20. What do you say, 2022? I hope at least 2021, right?
Yeah, well, it's gonna get to time, isn't it? We're gonna have to find time. See, time. And no, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we're gonna have much more conversations to come, and hopefully loads of things to do together and develop together on the near future.
That's it.
And
How can
there'll
people find
be.
you?
Huh?
I'm sorry. How can people find you, Diego?
Well, if you people want to come and see me or come to my clinic, you just look thefieldtraining.com in Marylebone, London, Central London. You can find us from there. Or you can just email us at info@thefieldtraining.com.
Great.
But basically, look, The Field Training London, you'll find us. That's it. It's the easiest way to find us or find myself. It's a team we have. I'm just like the chief, I'm just the director of the whole process. But yeah, it's easier. It's easier. We're pretty easy to be finding here.
Great. Thank you, Diego. Thank you for your time. And like I said, hope to see you soon and talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you. And I shall see you soon, Alberto.
Good, brother.